and welcome to the May 27, 2025 Council Planning Meeting. Members of the public may watch and or participate in this open meeting using any of the following methods. Attend in person in the Dumfries Inn at the North Dumfries Community Complex, located at 295A Greenfield Road. Attend electronically to observe the meeting or to speak to an item on the agenda by registering with the Clerk's Division. You can watch the live stream by accessing the meeting on the Township's YouTube page. The live stream is for viewing only and not for direct participation. You can submit written comments to the clerk's office in advance of the meeting. The correspondence is provided to the mayor and council prior to the meeting and will form part of the public record. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank every one of you for attending this meeting today. We appreciate your participation. As we come together to serve the community, I ask that we create a welcoming and positive environment for everybody that includes respect, that we listen to each other with care, speak thoughtfully, and engage kindly with one another. Kindness, that we treat everyone, council, staff, and the public, with respect and understanding. And that inclusion, that we embrace diverse opinions and perspectives and respect each other's opinion. Together, we can make this meeting space one where respect, kindness, and inclusion are at the heart of everything we do. Behavior that is disrespectful, disruptive, aggressive, or intimidating will result in those individuals being asked to leave. I now call the meeting to order. Can I have approval of the agenda, please, Councillor Austin?
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Tilly, that council adopt the May 27, 2025 council planning public meeting agenda as presented.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. I'd now like to do the Indigenous acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land in which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and Neutral people. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land, their contributions and achievements to our community. We offer this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in Canada. And I have had the privilege to meet many of the chiefs and elders in the last few years, and they are truly an honorable people. They believe in respect. They're not here to try and take back land or force this or force that. They want recognition for their contribution to this land in this country. And they want to walk with us in that to make it as best as we can make Canada. And I think we should reflect on that and be grateful for their partnership. So let's pause for reflection. Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none. Committee of Adjustment, Councillor Tilly, please.
By myself, second by Councillor Oster, that the council meeting adjourned at 6:03 p.m. to sit as a committee of adjustments for purposes of holding public meetings pursuant to the provisions of the Inviting Act.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And Councillor Rowland, a motion to approve the committee of adjustment agenda.
Moved by myself, by Councillor Wilms, that committee adopt the May 27, 2025 committee of adjustment agenda as presented.
All those in favor? All those in favor? Thank you, it's carried. And again, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof under the committee of adjustment? Seeing none. Minutes of the previous meeting, Councillor Wilms, please.
And by myself, with my Roland, that committee of adjustment approved the meeting minutes dated April 29, 2025.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Hearings of public meeting, minor variance, consent applications, 6.5.1, report number PD 29/2025, minor variance application for 2132 Greenfield Road, file number A-06/25. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application and those who register with the Clerk's Department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of the decision of the convening future meetings on this application. There's a sign sheet at the table. At the table, it's not bad, but it's not over here. In the meeting room to complete for those who wish future notice related to this file. Christina Blasnovich, Planner 1 GIS Technician, will present this application. Christina, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The following presentations for minor variance application A06/25 for the property located at 2132 Greenfield Road. The purpose of this meeting is to provide an overview of the proposal, to solicit comments, and identify issues or matters to be assessed by staff. The property is located on the north side of Greenfield Road, east of the intersection of Greenfield Road and Reedsville Road. The property consists of a single detached dwelling, garden suite, retail store, and accessory buildings. This property is approximately 70.8 hectares in size with a lot frontage of 402 meters onto Greenfield Road. Surrounding land uses are agricultural. This property is zone 1 agriculture with site-specific zoning exemption 20.1.219 and is designated agricultural in the township initial plan. As mentioned on the previous slide, this property has a site-specific exemption, which was established as a temporary use. This exemption permitted a garden suite for a period of 10 years. The temporary use bylaw has since expired, and the owner is now seeking to recognize the second dwelling unit as a coach house in accordance with the current zoning provisions. This would allow the unit to remain on the property permanently as a permitted use. While the owner is seeking to convert the existing garden suite to a permanent coach house, the unit does not meet all of the applicable regulations for coach houses under the zoning bylaw. The principal dwelling on the property has a building footprint of approximately 217.4 square meters, which results in a maximum permitted coach house size of 87 square meters. The existing unit exceeds this threshold. As a result, the minor variance is required to permit the conversion and recognize the existing unit on a permitted basis. The following minor variances are being requested. Section 6.40.7 permits a maximum coach house size of 40% of the principal or the footprint of the principal dwelling unit. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a maximum size of 57% of the footprint of the principal dwelling. Section 6.40.8II establishes that a coach house may not be located closer to the street line than the front wall of the principal dwelling. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit the coach house to be located closer to the street line than the principal dwelling. No correspondence has been received from any members of the public. The fire department will require confirmation that working smoke and carbon monoxide alarms are installed in accordance with the building code and Ontario Fire Code. And the building department will require septic review as well as a building permit for the carport that was enclosed and converted into a garage. Staff recommends that all comments and correspondence received by members of the public and government agencies through the consultation process be returned to staff for a future report. The committee on the disposition of this matter. Staff will be considering matters including all comments and correspondence received and whether the development meets the criteria of the four tests.
Thank you, Christina. Is the applicant here or speaking for the applicant? Seeing none, any members of the public wish to speak?
We're next.
Just take it in, please.
We are next door neighbors and we share the same line fence. Are we on?
Okay, question.
You probably don't need this. We are next door neighbors and we share the same line fence and have been here for years. And so have they. And we have absolutely no problem with that home being ancient. I can understand why some of those variances were different when the mother-in-law lived there, but it's fine. It makes no difference to us at all. Right, good. Right, we're happy to have the neighbors come that are coming.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this file? Seeing none questions, any questions from council? Committee members? Seeing none, can I have the motion, please, Councilor Austin?
Moved by myself, second by Scott Tilley, that PD report number 29-2025 be received and that all comments and correspondence received through the consultation process be returned to staff for consideration in a future report to the committee on the disposition of this matter.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Let's move on to the information of the future review on the signers. Next up is 6.5.2, report number PD 31/2025, minor variance application for 1019 Ops Road file number A -05/25. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. Such an accessory will keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application and those who register to the clerk's department to request a notice to send. Those individuals will be notified of the decision and the convening of future meetings on this application. There's a sign-in sheet on the table, and so please sign in if you wish to have future notifications and run into this file. Brock Lakeland, senior planner, will present this application. Brock, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The following presentation is for minor variance application 80525 for the property located at 1019 Alps Road. Purpose of this meeting is to provide an overview of the proposal, to solicit comments, and identify issues or matters to be addressed by staff. Subject property is located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Alps Road and Sprague Road with the Township of North Dumfries and City of Cambridge municipal boundary, located approximately 330 meters to the northeast. Property consists of a 1.5-story single attached dwelling on private surfaces and 2 small accessory structures, a full house and a garden shed. Triangular shaped corner lot is approximately 0.5 hectares in size, with a lot frontage of 93 meters on the Alps Road and 149.4 meters along Sprague's Road. Property is zoned Z1 agricultural in the township zoning bylaw and is designated prime agricultural and designated countryside on map 7 of the township's official plan. Surrounding land uses are primarily agricultural. The owner proposes to facilitate the construction of a new 2-story detached garage on the subject property to be located between the street line and established building line. The proposed accessory building will consist of a 3-bay detached garage on the ground floor with soft storage space on the second level. This accessory building will be approximately 14.17 meters by 7.62 meters in size, with an approximate area of 108 meters squared or 1162.5 square feet. A concept plan illustrating the proposed accessory building, its location on the site is shown on this slide on the right-hand side. The zoning bylaw prohibits buildings or structures from being located between the street line and the established building line. In this instance, the established building line or front yard setback is 10.72 meters, determined by the existing dwelling's position relative to the street line. As the plan on this slide indicates, the proposed accessory building will be situated between the street line and the established building line, thus requiring a minor variance for the proposal. Specifically, the owner is requesting the following minor variances from the zoning bylaw. Section 6.4.1 establishes that no accessory building may be erected between any building lines established by this bylaw. The owner seeks relief from the provision to permit accessory building to be located in front of the principal dwelling within the established building line. Section 6.5.1 similarly speaks to prohibited obstructions, stating that no building or structure can be located between the street line and building line established by this bylaw. The owner is seeking relief from this provision as well to permit the proposed accessory building to be located between the street line and the established building line. And section 6.10.1 states that the building setback shall be a distance equal to the distance between the street line and the closest point of the existing building. The established building line or the front yard setback requirement in this case is 10.72 meters. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit for the proposed 108 square meter accessory building to have a reduced building line setback of 4.37 meters. On the left side of the slide, you can see a view of the property from Alps Road. The photo on the right of the slide provides a building elevation view of the existing dwelling and the location of the proposed accessory building in relation to the dwelling. There's been no correspondence received from any members of the public regarding this application. Any correspondence received following this meeting will be reviewed by staff and incorporated into a future recommendation report to the Committee of Adjustment. Looking at agency correspondence, the Township's Fire Department, Region of Waterloo, Grand River Conservation Authority, and the Waterloo Catholic School Board have all stated that they have no comments or objections to the proposed application. The Township's Engineering and Public Works Department has no objections to the proposal. However, they are requesting an updated grading plan to show the area surrounding the proposed accessory structure, which will be required at the building permit stage. The Township's Building Department provided comments as well, noting that the Township currently does not have septic information for the property on record. and therefore the site plan will need to be updated to show the location of the septic bed on the property, ensuring that the proposed accessory structure will not have any impacts on the existing septic system. The building department also noted that the accessory structure cannot impact the existing full fence structure, and if it were to be impacted, it would need to be fixed in accordance with the township's fence bylaw. And lastly, the building department stated that, as a reminder, that no habitable space will be permitted within the accessory structure, and that the uses permitted within the structure shall be permitted as listed through the zoning bylaw. At this point, staff recommends that all comments and correspondence received from members of the public and government agencies through this consultation process be returned to staff for a future report to the committee on the disposition of this matter. Staff will be considering matters including all comments and correspondence received, whether the development meets the criteria for test of a minor variance, and whether the proposed accessory structure have any impacts on the existing septic system. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Is there, I guess, the agent or the individual would like to speak to that? Mr. Jefferson, are you taking that for that? Go ahead, Mr. Jefferson.
Madam Mayor, members of the committee, my name is Steve Jefferson, planner with K Smart Associates in Kitchener. My client on this project is Cass Construction. They're the contracting firm which has been hired by Mark and Kiki Everett to construct this garage and a new deck and entrance to their house. Also part of the team working on this is McKechnie Surveying Limited. They are one of our related companies and they are in the same office building where I work. McKechnie Surveying staff did site work to determine the location of the boundaries of the property and to also pick up the existing topographical data that will be used for preparing the grading plan that's required for the building permit stage. The owners of the property, Mark and Kiki Everett, are out of town this evening, but they did register for this meeting tonight, so they are observing remotely and are available if they need to assist with any questions that you may have at this time as well. Mr. Cassavon from Cass Construction was hoping to make it, but he's taking the chance to be at home with his kids tonight, so I let him know that he would not be needed for the meeting tonight. With respect to the location of the septic tile bed, I spoke with the owners and Mr. Everett provided a sketch back showing where he believes the location of the tile bed. The east of the house towards the corner of the property by the intersection. So I will be providing that written submission to township staff with that location before the next meeting. And we also noted in the staff comments that we'll have to make sure that the fencing on the property meets the township bylaws with respect to the safety requirements around the swimming pool on the property. So that will be taken care of as well. In our review of this proposal, I've gone through the 4 tests under the Planning Act for minor variance, and it's my opinion that this proposal does meet those 4 tests. And we look forward to hearing any comments or questions that you may have and seeing us come back so that Cass Construction can start building as soon as possible.
Thank you, Steve. So any member of the public that wish to speak on this? Seeing none, any questions from council? Seeing none, can I have the motion, please, Council Tilly?
Yeah, yes, Madam Mayor, I just noticed my Zoom has disconnected again, so I'm just starting that up as well. Right. Moved by myself, second by Derek Osner, that PD report number 31-2025 be received and that all comments and correspondence received through the consultation process be returned to staff for consideration in a future report to the committee on the disposition of this matter.
All those in favor? Here, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Next up is 6.5.2, report number PD 31-2025, a minor variance application. Well, that's the one I just read, right? So this is a line, minor variance for 61 Water Street, file number A 0325. Notice has been given, In accordance with the Planning Act, the Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application and those who register with the Clerk's Department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of the decision or the convening of future meetings on this application. There is a sign-in sheet on the table in the meeting room to be sign-in so that you can be notified of the decision. Christina Vesanova, Planner 1 GIS Technician, will present this application. Christina, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Following presentations for minor variance application A03/25 for the property located at 61 Water Street. The purpose of this meeting is to advance a recommendation for the committee's consideration on the merits of the application. The property is located south of the intersection of Water Street and Colonial Drive in the urban village of Air. The property consists of a single detached dwelling. This property is approximately 1,900 square meters in size with a lot frontage of 37.7 meters onto Water Street and 40.2 meters onto Colonial Drive. Surrounding land uses are primarily urban residential. This property is zoned Z4 urban residential and designated urban residential and ancillary in the Township official plan. The purpose of the proposed variance application is to facilitate the construction of a coach house and a single-story accessory building within the side yard of the subject property. The accessory building will include a detached garage with the proposed coach house attached to the rear of the garage. The proposed accessory garage will be 8.99 meters by 11.16 meters in size with a total area of approximately 97.83 square meters. The proposed coach house is irregularly shaped and will have a total area of approximately 96.95 square meters. The building height of the proposed coach house will not exceed the building height of the principal dwelling. The principal dwelling unit has a building footprint of approximately 136.18 square meters. The proposed coach house is permitted to be 40% of this size, which is approximately 54.47 square meters. The owner is requesting a variance to exceed this size limit. The combined area of the proposed coach house, covered porch and accessory garage is approximately 231 square meters. The new driveway to Water Street is also proposed to access the proposed development. Following the public meeting, the owner has revised their proposed location of the coach house. The development is now proposed to be located further toward the rear yard of the property and which has eliminated the need for two of the four originally requested variances. These two images illustrate the change in the proposed development's location. The image on the left shows the original proposal presented at the public meeting. Since then, the owner has revised the plan, shifting the development further into the rear yard as shown in the image on the right, and is now located behind the existing building line. The owner is requesting the following minor variances. Section 6.4.6 establishes that the total lot coverage of all accessory buildings for zone 4 shall not exceed a maximum floor area of 60 meters squared as provided in subsection 8.3. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a maximum lot coverage of 231 square meters. And section 6.40.7 permits a maximum coach house size of 30%. The footprint of the principal dwelling unit, and the owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a maximum size of 71.2% of the footprint of the principal dwelling. The photo on the screen is a view of the subject property from Water Street, the area and the proposed location of the development. Public correspondence. There are two pieces of correspondence that we received from the adjacent property owners located at 58 Water Street and 60 Water Street. For 58 Water Street, the resident expressed general support for the development, and their main concern was regarding the location of the development, as it was proposed to be located closer to the street line than the principal dwelling. The applicant has since revised the proposal and relocated the development further toward the rear yard, so the building is now situated behind the existing building line, and as a result, the two originally requested variances are no longer required. For 63 Water Street, the following concerns were raised: whether the proposed coach house and garage are subordinate in size to the existing dwelling, verification on whether the attached garage is considered part of the coach house, information on the proposed setbacks from the street and side yard, the potential for the coach house to be used as a rental unit in the future, the size of the proposed garage appeared to be excessive, and also noted that the property owner had indicated the garage would be used for their son's HVAC business. And lastly, the loss of mature trees. The coach house and garage are considered separate buildings for planning and review purposes, and the coach house itself is smaller than the principal dwelling. The proposed development is set back 15.29 meters from the front lot line, 1.87 meters from the garage to the side lot line, and 2.74 meters from the coach house to the side lot line. Provincial legislation, specifically Section 4 of Ontario, which 299/19 permits additional additional residential units to be occupied by any individual regardless of relationship or ownership. The larger garage size proposed is intended to accommodate a future wheelchair accessible vehicle. The current Z4 zoning does not permit the operation of a commercial business. If the proposed development is constructed, and there are concerns that the property is being used in contravention of the zoning bylaw, residents are encouraged to contact the Township's Enforcement Division. The township does not have a tree protection bylaw, so owners are permitted to remove trees without municipal approval unless the trees are located in a regulated area like a designated woodland. In such cases, a region of water use conservation of trees and woodlands bylaw may require a permit. While the garage layout may be unconventional, applicants can propose designs that meet their needs. The applicant may also provide additional context if required. Agency correspondence from the Region of Waterloo. The Region of Waterloo confirmed that a new service request would be required to upgrade the water service. This must be submitted to the Region of Waterloo Sales Business Development. The building department noted that the upgraded water service must be for a building permit is issued. A road occupancy permit from the engineering department will also be required before applying for a building permit. That the garage must be used for residential use only as permitted uses within the zoning bylaw, and permits will be required for the servicing work and construction of the coach house and garage. Lastly, the engineering department will require a revised grading plan to address the potential drainage from the southwest corner of the property with the appropriate potential of mitigation measures to the township's satisfaction. Planning staff are of the opinion that the requested variances meet the four tests of the minor variance as outlined by the Planning Act. The first test being that the variance is minor in nature. The increased coach house size and lot coverage provide needed space for the additional dwelling unit and garage while maintaining the required setbacks and open space. The overall lot coverage of the existing dwelling and proposed is 22%, which is below the 45% maximum allowed by provincial legislation. Secondly, that the variance is desirable. The additional size and lot coverage allow for an accessible coach house and garage that support inclusive housing options. Third, that the variance meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. The coach house remains secondary in size and placement to the principal dwelling. And although over the 60 square meter limit, the proposed and existing dwellings essentially covers only 22% of the lot, which is within the 45% maximum lot coverage permitted under Ontario Regulation 299/19. Lastly, that the variance meets the intent of the official plan. The proposal supports low-density residential infill and additional housing options consistent with urban residential policies, and it also maintains the low-density residential character of the neighborhood. Planning staff recommend that minor variance application P03/25 be approved subject to the conditions listed in the recommendation section of report 30-2025.
Thank you, Christina. Is there any member of the applicant wishing to make comments?
Yes. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council and staff. My name is Margaret Plagans and I am the owner of 61 Water Street in there. I thank you for the opportunity to address the issue that was mentioned on the screen that my son Mark will be using the garage for his HVAC business. My neighbor sent a letter to Michael Campos stating that my son would be using a double car garage to store his HVAC equipment for his business. And I'm here to tell you all unequivocally that Mark doesn't need a garage for his business. He has nothing to store there. When he's ready for a job, he goes to his supplier, picks up the equipment, and goes directly to the job site. So there's really no need to store equipment in the garage. In fact, he's lived at his current residence for the past 10 years, and it doesn't have a garage because he doesn't need one for his business. In fact, if you've got your cell phone handy, check out Google Maps. Type in his address. It's 382 Granwood Drive in Cambridge, and you will see that there's no garage there. All he has is a lean-to garden shed, and as you would think, all that it contains is his garden equipment, his lawn and garden equipment.
I've had several conversations with my neighbor. And, yeah, we do want to use the garage for storage, but for personal items. Such as lawn and garden equipment, snow removal equipment, my car. And Mark, has hobbies that he engages in, that equipment will be in the garage. But I don't know where she thinks that we're going to have furnaces and hot water tanks and air conditioners in the garage because he doesn't need to store them there. So I think it's just a misunderstanding on her part that she thinks that that would be the case. So in addition to that, if we are allowed to build, I invite my neighbor to contact bylaw at the township office. And I'd be happy to show her, once we've settled in, I'd be happy to show her the garage, the entire property, just to alleviate her concerns and to demonstrate to the township that we're using the property legitimately and that we're respecting zoning bylaws for residential property. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Marty, did you wish to speak? Okay, any members of the public? Members of council, any questions? Councilor Bowman.
Madam Mayor, my question is through to staff. I'm just concerned about this whole issue of home-based business. I'm looking at Google Maps, as you suggested. There's a lot of businesses listed on the in air operating out of those homes. So I'm not sure what this is based on, because just looking at the neighborhood that you're moving 63 Water Street, there's half a dozen home-based businesses right there. So is the issue here that you can't have a home-based business, or is the issue here specifically for this property? That's one clarification.
So my mayor through to Councilor Bowman, letter in question was specific to the application and the intended use of the attached accessory structure. Home-based businesses are permitted as of right in a residential zone classification. In the zoning bylaw and the general provisions, there are specific criteria that define what is a home-based business, where the home-based business can actually operate within the principal residence, and the amount of space within the principal residence as to how much can be allocated as a percentage of the house for that home-based business. So it wasn't a sweeping statement across the neighborhood. We have numerous addresses, urban and rural, where we have legitimate home-based businesses operate.
Any other questions, Councilor? Councilor Austin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to piggyback on Councilor Rowland's comment there. I just don't want this to become, if Mark needs to store a hot water tank in his garage, I don't want him to feel he can't do it simply because he doesn't have to drive back into Cambridge to pick up said tank and bring it to his job. If he's doing a job in air in the morning and he wants to put a tank in his garage, I mean, I find it sad that the players have to worry about what they're putting in their garage because so it's going to offend somebody. It's their garage. Like it's not like he's going to put 50 air conditioners and have 7 different service vehicles in and out of his driveway. He's going to have his own vehicle, and if an air conditioner needs to go in his garage, I don't see an issue with that whatsoever.
Madam Mayor, through Councilor Austin. Bylaw staff are professionals, well trained, and judgment always is factored into any investigation where a complaint is formally filed. The other aspect, drive around most properties in residential settings, and you will see commercial vehicles parked in driveways. It is not uncommon for individuals who may be on call to have a corporate vehicle with them. And I'm sure in those corporate vehicles would be tools or equipment necessary to undertake whatever their trade may be if they fall in. Once again, that doesn't constitute its business, nor does it constitute a commercial.
Councilor Austin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And to you to see McNeely. it wasn't a question of a bylaw issue, more so for the places to be at ease, like that the neighbors can get along and this doesn't have to become a bylaw issue. I just don't want them to feel like, oh, can I put this in my garage? Can I? Should I put this? Shouldn't I? You know, what constitutes this, that, and the other thing? It's just, you know, neighbors need to get along and understand that, you know, no, he's not gonna run 7, 8, 9 vehicles out of his garage. If, like I said, if he's got to store air conditioner in his garage, he's got to store air conditioner in his garage. Like that's none of my business. I'm not too far away from there. But I'm not gonna go walking around poking to see if there's a new box sitting in his garage and they call bylaw. Like that's just not being a good neighbor.
Thank you, Councilor Knox. And I think what we're trying to say is don't worry, you're doing the right thing. And Lord help anybody that comes and sees what I've got in my garage. And it's really none of their business. If you're within the law, so whatever your neighbor's doing, let it do, bylaw will take care of whatever. You don't need to worry, you do fine. But so let's carry on with the motion, please, Councilor Roman.
With myself and by Council Williams, that the report number 30-2025 be received. And a minor variance application A0325 being requested to permit a maximum lot coverage of 231 meters squared. Whereas section 6.4.6 of general zoning bylaw 689-83 establishes that the total lot coverage of all accessory buildings with zone 4 shall not exceed the maximum floor area of 60 meters squared as provided in subsection 8.3. And B, a maximum size of 71.2% or 96.95 meters squared of footprint or principal dwelling unit, whereas section 6.40.7 general zoning bylaw 689-83 permits the maximum coach outside of 40% or 54.47 meters squared of the footprint of the principal dwelling unit. Be approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that the owner provide revised grading plan addressing the comments by the engineering department to the satisfaction of the township's engineering department. The owner must provide a revised grading plan prior to the issuance of a building permit by the township building department. And two, that the owner submit a request to the Regional Waterloo and complete all necessary upgrades to the water service prior to issuance of a building permit by the township building department.
Thank you. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. This is riveting. I don't want to stay. You know other things.
You missed the best part of the meeting.
Oh, we should stay. Thank you.
You guys.
Take care. Have a good night. Next is 6.6.2. PD 32-2025 consent application lot additions for 395 and 345 Wadham Drive, file number B0125 and B0225. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all persons who provide comments for the application. Those who register with the Clerk Department to request a notice of decision. These individuals will be notified of the decision on the convening of future meetings on this application. There's a sign-in sheet in the building here in the room. And please sign it if you wish to be notified of future decisions. Brock Senior Planner will present the application. Brock, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Following presentation is for consent applications B0125 and B0225 associated with properties municipally addressed as 395 Wadham and 435 Wadham Drive. A public meeting was originally held for these consent applications on April 29, 2025. The purpose for this meeting is to advance a recommendation for the committee's consideration on the merits of these applications. The two subject properties known municipally as 395 Wadham and 435 Wadham Drive are situated adjacent to one another on the south side of Wadham Drive. This area is located immediately north of Highway 401, south of Roseville Road, east of Industrial Road. 395 Wadham Drive has an approximate lot area of 1.56 hectares with a lot frontage of 91.44 meters on Wadham Drive. 435 Wadham Drive, located immediately east of 395 Wadham, has an approximate lot area of 0.52 hectares and a frontage of 30.48 meters on William Drive. The property is designated Highway 401, Regional Road 97 employment area on map 2 of the township's official plan, as well as tri-industrial slash commercial under map 2.27 of the township's official plan. The two lots are both zoned Z11 industrial in the township's zoning bylaw. The applicant has submitted 2 consent applications, with the purpose of these applications being to facilitate a lot addition between 395 and 435 Wadham Drive. No new lots would be created through these consent applications. 395 Wadham is currently developed with an industrial building and associated parking. However, its septic bed is located within the lot boundary of 435 Wadham Drive. 435 Wadham is currently a vacant industrial parcel, aside from the existing septic bed situated at the rear of the lot. To address this servicing arrangement and correct the lot boundaries, the owner submitted consent applications to realign the property lines between the 2 lots. The applications also propose to offset the land being conveyed from 435 Wadham by adding a larger portion of land from 395 Wadham, ensuring that 435 Wadham retains sufficient area to accommodate future industrial development. Therefore, BO 125 specifically proposes to convey approximately 1,445 square meters of lot area from 395 Wadham Drive, shown as property 1 on the left side of the attached consent sketch, to 435 Wadham Drive, or property 2 as a lot addition. The land to be conveyed to 435 Wadham is identified as part A on the consent sketch. Application BO 225, on the other hand, proposes to convey approximately 1,671 square meters from 435 Wadham Drive to 395 Wadham Drive as a lot addition. This land to be conveyed to 395 Wadham is identified as part B on the consent sketch shown on this slide. On this slide, you can see 2 photos taken of each of the respective lots associated with the proposed lot addition. Photo on the left of the slide provides a street view image of 435 Wadham, which is the vacant parcel of land immediately to the east of 395 Wadham Drive. The photo on the right of the slide provides a street view image of 395 Wadham Drive, as it is currently developed today with the existing industrial building. There's been no correspondence received from any members of the public regarding these applications. In regards to agency correspondence, the Grand River Conservation Authority, Township Building and Fire Departments, as well as the Region of Waterloo, have all noted they have no objections to the consent applications. The Ministry of Transportation had no specific comments, just noting that the property falls within an MTO permit control area, and therefore MTO issued permits will be required prior to any alterations occurring on the lots. The Township's Engineering and Public Works Department has no objections to the approval of these consent applications. However, they did advise that an entrance permit will be required for the proposed gravel entrance. Additionally, a grading plan will be required showing drainage for the retaining lot. Showing drainage as part of any future building permit application for the proposed vacant lot. Staff are satisfied that the proposed consent applications are appropriate. Staff's opinion is based on the following. No major comments or concerns have been received from external or internal agencies. Similarly, no comments were received from any members of the public. The general intent of the official plan is maintained the boundary adjustment to support employment growth and business development within the Highway 401 Regional Road 97 employment area. The general intent of the zoning bylaw will be maintained as both properties are zoned Z11 industrial, and uses on site will continue to be industrial employment in nature. The proposed lot additions and boundary adjustments are desirable for both properties in the opinion of staff, as the additions will ensure that the existing septic system serving 395 Wadham Drive will be fully contained within its own lot boundaries. In exchange, the lot addition to 435 Wadham Drive will increase its lot frontage and area, supporting future industrial development on the property. The proposed lot additions are compatible with surrounding properties, as the uses of the lots will remain industrial employment, aligning with the uses of surrounding properties within the employment area. Therefore, staff recommend that consent applications BO 125 and BO 225 be approved, subject to the conditions listed in the recommendation section of report number P 3325.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. So, I believe the applicant is online. So would you like to speak, Jenna?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for the presentation, Brock. Outlines everything that we're applying for. I don't have anything else to add in addition to that presentation, just that we have read the staff report and reviewed the conditions, and we don't have any questions or concerns with anything, and happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Jenna. Any member of the public wish to speak? Any council, any questions? Councilor Rowland.
Madam Mayor, my question, I guess it's to staff. On page 6 of the report, it shows the location of the conceptual septic bed and also the conceptual well. I'm just concerned they seem awfully close together. Maybe staff can explain to me the distances between the two.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Rowland.
Carry on, Captain.
The building code requires minimum separation between wells and septic systems. And so when we first met with Jenna on this, we did require them to show that they could meet the required setbacks once the new lot was going to be built out. And so the conceptual septic on the proposed lot will have to meet the minimum 15-meter setback from the well. And so they have shown that that will work. However, once it's actually constructed with the location of the new septic that will support any future building on the proposed lot, will also once again require that separation distance is being met.
Councilor Rowland.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. So on the drawing, it doesn't look like it's 15 meters.
It may not look like it on this, but I do know that Jen and I went back and forth quite a bit during the pre-con to ensure that any future building, because again, I did not want to be able to recommend to put forward a lot that couldn't actually be serviced. So I am confident that when it comes time to build, again, it is a lot that does meet the minimum requirements under the zoning bylaw for its zone. So again, they may have to just get a little bit creative to ensure that they are maintaining that distance. And at the end of the day, drinking water is a top priority. So we will not that at risk to ensure that when the septic system is being designed and the building, again, they can put the septic to the far side of the building if they needed to create that additional separation. But in this conceptual, it was just to ensure that they were going to be able to meet the required separation under the building code.
Councilor Rowland.
So my last question then is, how close can the new well be in proximity to the existing well?
So there's nothing from my perspective that talks to wells from the perspective of how far they have to be apart. Again, it's just from the septics to ensure that they're not obviously drawing the effluent that would potentially come from the septic system. That's a ministry of the environment, and well drillers are licensed through the ministry. And so they would be the ones to determine where and how far apart those would have to be in order to ensure that appropriate water was serviced.
No further questions, councilors? Can I have the motion, Councilor Rowland, as 2 pages, so take your time.
Moved by myself, seconded by Scott Tilley, that report BD 32/2025 be received. And that consent application B 01/25 being a request to convey approximately 1,445 square meters, 0.1445 hectares of land from 395 Wadham Drive to 435 Wadham Drive as a lot addition be approved, subject to the following conditions. First, that the applicant submit a reference plan prepared by an Ontario land surveyor illustrating the proposed lot addition, new lot configuration, and necessary easement for the purposes of shared drainage to the satisfaction of the Township of North Dumfries. 2, that the applicant solicitor submits an undertaking to register the blanket easement with the land registry office. Upon registration, evidence of compliance with the undertaking is to be provided to the township in the form of a copy of the electronic transfer easement. 3, the applicant submit a draft of the transfer deeds for review. Upon registration, a final copy of the transfer deeds shall be provided to the township. 4, that the applicant pay $230 representing the township administration fee. 5, that the applicant pay the certificate of approval clearance for registration fee to the township to the amount of $840. 6, that the owner pay the township any outstanding property taxes in full. And 7, that the above conditions be fulfilled and the document for conveyance certificate of consent be completed by the Secretary Treasurer of the committee within 2 years of the date of written decision pursuant to section 5317 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, otherwise the approval shall lapse. And that consent application B02/25 being a request to convey approximately 1,671 square meters, 0.1611 hectares of land from 435 Wadham Drive to 395 Wadham Drive as a lot addition be approved, subject to the following conditions. First, that the applicant submit a reference plan prepared by an Ontario Land Surveyor illustrating the proposed lot addition, new lot configuration, and necessary easement for the purposes of shared drainage to the satisfaction of the township of North Dumfries. 2, that the applicant solicitor submits an undertaking to register the blanket easement with the land registry office. Upon registration, evidence of compliance with the undertaking is to be provided to the township in the form of a copy of an electronic transfer easement. 3, the applicant submit a draft of the transfer deeds for review. Upon registration, a final copy of the transfer deeds shall be provided to the township. 4, that the applicant pay $230 representing the township administration fee. 5, that the applicant pay the certificate of approval clearance for registration fee to the township in the amount of $840. 6, that the applicant owner pay the township any outstanding property taxes in full. And 7, that the following above conditions be fulfilled and the document for conveyance certificate of consent be completed by the Secretary Treasurer of the committee within 2 years of the date of written decision pursuant to section 5317 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, otherwise the approval shall lapse.
Well done, Councillor. All those in favor? Carried, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have 6.6.3, report number PD 33/2025, minor land application for 1 Lily Farm Lane, number A0425. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application and those who register with the Clerk's Department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of the decision at the convening of future meetings on the application. There's a sign-in sheet on the table in the meeting room that you can fill to be notified of the decision. Christine Razanovic, Planner 1, GIS Technician, will present this application. Christina, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The following presentation is provided variance application A04/25 for the property located at 1 Gourmet Farm Lane. The purpose of this meeting is to advance a recommendation for the committee's consideration of the merits of the application. The property is located at the southeast corner of the intersection of Burley and William Street. The property consists of a single detached dwelling and is approximately 447 square meters in size with a lot frontage of 30 meters onto Miracle Street and 14 meters onto Burley Road. Surrounding land uses are urban residential. The property is zoned zone 4D urban residential with site-specific zoning exemption 20.1.312 and designated urban residential on facility in the township of Champlain. The owner proposes to facilitate the construction of a deck and pergola structure. The proposed deck and pergola structure will be attached to the rear of the existing dwelling, shown in the image on the screen. Under the general zoning bylaw, the pergola is considered part of the main building due to its physical connection to the house. Decks, however, are regulated separately and are subject to different setback requirements. The proposed deck and pergola will share the same footprint measured to 4.51 meters by 8.13 meters in size, with a total area of 56.7 square meters. The owner is requesting the following variances. Section 20.1.312I establishes that rear yard setback of 7.5 meters. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a rear yard setback of 3 meters. And section 20.1.312II establishes a rear yard setback for decks of 3.75 meters. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a rear yard setback of 3 meters from the proposed deck. The property on the left is the concept plan indicating the proposed reduced setbacks, and the photo on the right is a view of the rear yard of the civic property. The approximate location of the deck is highlighted in yellow. No correspondence has been received from any members of the public, and there have been no major concerns received from the agencies. The building department has noted that engineering sign off and geotechnical confirmation will be required during the building permitting process, as this lot is a structural fill lot. Planning staff is of the opinion that the requested variances meet the forecasts of minor variances outlined by the caveat. First being that the variance is minor in nature. The proposed development features an open design and appropriate scale that preserves usable yard space while avoiding significant impacts relating to shadowing, privacy, or drainage. Secondly, that the variance is desirable. The proposed deck and pergola will enhance the livability of the property by creating a functional outdoor space for typical residential use. Third, that the variance meets the intent of the zoning bylaw. The structure remains appropriately scaled for the lot and maintains sufficient rear yard amenity space. The pergola, though structurally attached to the dwelling and subject to municipal building setbacks, it is openly designed and does not create adverse impacts. And lastly, that the variance meets the intent of the official planning. The property is designated for low density residential. The proposed development retains a primary residential use and aligns with the neighborhood's low density residential character. Planning staff recommend the minor variance application 804/25. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Is there any member of the public? Would you like to speak? Okay, and, any questions from council? Seeing none, can I have the motion, please, Councilor Austin?
Moved by myself, second by Rod Roloman, that report number PD 33 2025 be received, and that minor variance application A0425 being a request to permit a rear yard setback of 3 meters for proposed pergola, whereas section 20.1.312 II of general zoning bylaw number 689-83 establishes a rear yard setback of 7.5 meters. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So, and B, a rear yard setback of 3 meters for the proposed deck, whereas section 20.1.312 II of general zoning bylaw number 689-83 establishes a rear yard setback of 3.75 meters for decks. Be approved.
All those in favor? Carrie, thank you. So there's no correspondence left. Agenda is clear adjustment. This is Councilor Tilly.
Move for myself, second by Derek Rossner, that pursuant to the Planning Act, the public meeting of the Committee of Adjustment be adjourned at 6:58 PM. That's the end of that sentence.
All those in favor? Carrie, thank you. So is the bylaw, please, Councilor Rowland.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Tilly, that the following bylaw read the first and second time, bylaw number 356525, being the bylaw is confirmed to the council at this meeting held May 27, 2025.
All those in favor? Carrie, thank you. Oh, excuse me. Intermediary bylaw, please, Councilor Williams.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Oster, that bylaw number 3565-25 be read in third and final time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk.
All those in favor? Carrie, thank you. The adjournment, please. Councilor Austin.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Wilms, that whereas business before this council planning public meeting has been completed at 7 PM. And be it resolved that this meeting adjourned.
6:51. Thank you. All in favor?
6:59 PM.
Thank you.